Kwa majina naitwa Victoria Achai Kwaldim. Nimesomea Kenya. Actually, Kenya is like my mother country. I have been here for more than 20 years. I am a lawyer and an advocate of the Kenyan High Court, but I decided to go back home after going to Scotland, University of Aberdeen, where I did my master's in oil and gas law. I decided to go back home and take the technology, take whatever I learned from outside to South Sudan. So for me, actually, mimi ni Kenya, totally. And I am here as head of delegation of women of South Sudan. Of course, this event is for the Geothermal Association. We don't know, South Sudan does not know much about geothermal. This is a brand new topic to us. And I'm very elated by the fact that we had a tour to Kengen, Olkaria, where we have seen the great work that Kenyans are doing in the energy sector. South Sudan, as you may know, is one of the, I think, third largest so far oil-producing countries in Africa. And we do not have other sources of revenue or other sources of energy. We majorly deal with oil and gas, and that is the petroleum extractive, that is the crude oil. So I will just give you a brief description of what South Sudan is, because I know most of you just hear South Sudan. There's a war in South Sudan, there's a travel restriction to South Sudan. South Sudanese are suffering. South Sudan is a war-torn country, and there's nothing that is happening there. There's actually a lot happening in South Sudan. There has been sad stories about South Sudan for a couple of years due to civil unrest, political instability, ethnic instability, But since 2018, the revitalized agreement on cessation of hostilities was signed in Addis Ababa, and the transitional government of national unity was formed. And now we have seen incredible sustainable peace. And with this, of course, there's developmental projects that are going on. So far, we are members of the East African Bloc, we are members of the Northern Corridor, we are members of the LAPSET projects, and all this, South Sudan is highly interested. And this comes in to show that we are learning from our East African counterparts, we are learning from the African counterparts. Although we are still young, I will just give you a short description of what South Sudan is in the oil sector. Sorry to keep you diverted on many things. I wasn't much ready for this, but I'll just give you a small description of what South Sudan is. So, of course, South Sudan gained independence in 2011. And, of course, since gaining independence, South Sudan oil production declined by a third of average of about 160,000 barrels per day. That was in 2013, from around 245,000 barrels per day production of oil. This one is, of course, due to the political and civil unrest. South Sudan, actually, I did my thesis in the University of Aberdeen, and South Sudan is a country that I actually did a case study, and it was known as a natural curse, disastrous curse of the oil and gas sector. So this is one of the things that South Sudan is suffering from. So for now, we are going through something known as reconciliation. We are going through something known as getting back on our feet. And this comes up with the stability of everyone. Of course, peace is what makes everyone to be developed. As we speak now, as of today, after everything that happened, South Sudan is still producing oil. Actually, we had, before we had a refinery, It was built by an American company known as Blackwater Front. But unfortunately in 2013, it was actually blown up. But now we are producing around 180,000 barrels per day of oil. And recently we have just launched our licensing rounds to blocks. We have around 6 to 7 blocks of oil that has not been yet explored. So we are looking at new investments. We have African countries that have come to South Sudan who have actually been allocated some blocks. This is Nigeria, which is Oranto. We have South Africa, that is South Sudan it's known as SFF. It's known as South African Strategic Fund. These are one of the people who are coming to invest in South Sudan. With this in mind, we have developed a regulatory framework, and that is actually creating laws and policies that actually enhance, increase the benefits of oil production, and that is to the South Sudanese. And in 2022, we are having something known as South Sudanization Agenda of 2022, where we are going to use the oil to benefit the people of South Sudan. And of course with this, we are looking at starting to, from 2022 in August, I think we are going to be exploring and drilling 350,000 barrels. We are going back to it. So with this now, we are moving, benchmarking in different countries. We were just in South Africa the other day. Our minister now is heading a delegation to the US. I can see Baker Hughes is here. We are having Turkish investors coming into South Sudan. I've been informed they're Turkish. I do not know the names yet, but I think they were there last week, but we were not there myself. I was just informed. And of course, we are open to different investors coming into South Sudan. Of course, with the geothermal, this is a renewable energy strategies. And due to climate change, of course, oil production is going to change. And of course, we have to have other strategies. We are going to have the hydro power like Kiambere. We are going to think about the geothermal energy production. And with that, we are open towards any new person who is ready to come to South Sudan. I know the media portrays it as a country that does not have a way forward, but we as the young people of South Sudan, we want to see a way forward. We as women of South Sudan, we are here to ensure that development of South Sudan is there, and we are welcoming any investor that is coming in with new technologies, innovations. Thank you very much, everyone, and I am glad to meet all of you again. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Victoria. Much appreciated. We now know a lot about South Sudan. We've had many stories, but now we have the clear picture as we go